You walk out to the pool, and instead of a full water line, you find your skimmer sucking air and your dog staring into an empty plastic hole. And before somebody asks, no, Ruger is not the reason my water's low, although between what he drinks and what he shakes off on the deck, I'm not saying he's helping. Before we get into it, let me tell you why I know this one cold. I ran my own pool store for 15 years. People around there used to call me the fastest water tester in the area, and I earned that title standing behind a counter with a line out the door in July. I also ran a maintenance route, so I wasn't just reading somebody's sample and sending them home with a jug. I was the one out there opening pools in April and closing them in October, swapping pumps, changing out filters, and yes, I put in a few in-ground liners by myself, start to finish. Which means I have had this exact conversation about 1,000 times. Somebody comes in convinced they have a leak. Water's down, they're panicking, and they're already pricing out a leak detection company. And most of the time, it wasn't a leak at all. It was the weather doing exactly what the weather does. So before you tear up the deck looking for a cracked pipe, take a breath. Losing a 1/4 inch of water on a Tuesday doesn't mean your plumbing has failed. Under the right weather conditions, that is standard daily evaporation. To figure out exactly where your water is going, we are going to walk through a basic water loss audit. We will look at the specific variables draining your pool right now and then set up a simple, definitive 24-hour physical test to give you a clear answer. Replacing unmeasured loss quietly adds up on your utility bill and forces you into a constant cycle of chemical correction. Knowing if you're fighting the weather or a plumbing defect allows you to target the source rather than just paying for the refill. Let's look at the mechanics of evaporation. The rate at which water leaves your pool is driven by a combination of 4 distinct variables: water temperature, the humidity of the air, wind speed, and the exposed surface area of the pool. This chart shows the microscopic activity at the surface. Often, we assume water only evaporates when it is blistering hot outside. In reality, the driving force is a difference in vapor pressure. Water molecules are constantly trying to escape into the air. When the air directly above the surface is dry, far fewer molecules return to the water, resulting in a net loss. The amount of actual volume you lose is dictated purely by surface area. If a shallow sun shelf and a 10-foot diving pool share the exact same top-level dimensions, a 1/4 inch drop equals the same number of missing gallons, regardless of how deep the water goes. Here's where most people get stuck. A 1/4 inch sounds like nothing. You can barely see it on the tile. But a 1/4 inch is not a small number once you turn it into gallons. The math is simple. 1 inch of water over 1 square foot is about 6/10 of a gallon. So take your surface area, multiply by the inches you lost, multiply by 0.62. Say you've got a 400 square foot pool. That's a 16 by 25, pretty typical. A 1/4 inch overnight is about 62 gallons. 1/2 inch is 125. Run that for a month and you're replacing 3/4 of the water you thought you were only topping off. Now, I don't expect you to do that in your head standing on the deck. I built a calculator for it. You put in your length and width, you put in how much you dropped, and it hands you the gallons. There's a second one that takes your temperature, your humidity, and your wind speed and tells you what your loss should be, so you've got something to compare against. Both of them are free on PoolToolkit.com. Links are below. And quick note before we go any further. Every number I give you is a ballpark. Your pool, your yard, your weather, they all move the math. These are the numbers that hold up across most pools most of the time, and they're plenty good enough to make a decision with. If you want your number, that's what the calculators are for. Wind acts as an accelerator, An undisturbed pool builds up a thin, humid boundary layer of air right above the surface, slowing further evaporation. A steady breeze strips it away and replaces it with dry air, keeping the exit lane wide open. This means your backyard's specific layout matters. A pool shielded by dense privacy hedges or a tight courtyard will retain water much better than a pool sitting completely exposed on a windy ridge, even if they are in the exact same zip code. This explains why you might lose more water on a brisk October evening than a muggy August afternoon. Warm water raises surface pressure, while cold, dry air lowers it. That gap pulls vapor out rapidly. Once you measure these factors, high water temperature, dry air, and steady wind, a half-inch drop begins to make physical sense. It allows you to anticipate normal weather-driven loss without assuming your pool shell is cracked. When that vapor escapes, it takes thermal energy with it. For heated pools, the cost of the replacement water is often secondary to the energy required to bring that new cold water up to temperature. Evaporation is a cooling process. The water molecules that escape into the air are the ones carrying the most thermal energy. Every time they leave, they draw latent heat out of the remaining water, forcing your pool heater to run longer and burn more fuel. Spreading a physical cover over the surface during idle periods blocks that air-to-water contact. A properly fitted cover can prevent up to 95% of this specific evaporation, retaining both your water volume and your thermal energy. That 95 is a best-case number, so hear it that way. That's a well-fitted cover, sitting flat on a calm day. A bubble-style solar cover on a real backyard pool is going to land lower than that. Still the best money you can spend on a heated pool, but I'm not going to pretend it's 95 across the board. These covers act as insulators. They do not generate heat on their own. They simply lock in the expensive energy your heater has already produced, stopping the bleeding at the surface. You also have to factor in your mechanical setup. Fountains, deck jets, and spillovers increase the surface area exposed to the air and actively throw your heated water up into dry breezes, drastically multiplying your evaporation rate while they run. Turning off decorative waterfalls when you aren't using them and pulling a cover over the water at night are the most reliable ways to cap that heat loss and keep your utility costs predictable. Now that we know what normal loss looks like, we need to test your specific pool. The standard diagnostic is the 24-hour bucket test. It exposes a small control body of water to the exact same weather as your pool, allowing us to compare the two. Step 1 is critical. You must completely turn off your automatic fill valve. If the autofill engages while you are testing, it will replace the missing water, hide the drop, and render the entire test useless. Place a clean, heavy plastic bucket on the top step of your pool. Add a few rocks so it sits firmly, then fill the inside with pool water until the level inside precisely matches the pool water outside. Mark the inside and outside water lines with tape or a grease pencil. Leave the bucket in place for a full 24 hours. During this window, keep everyone out, make sure no rain is forecast, and do not backwash. One more thing nobody tells you, and this is the part that actually saves you money. Run the test twice. First round, pump running normally, 24 hours. Second round, pump completely off, another 24 hours. If you lose water both times at the same rate, you're looking at the shell. A liner tear, a crack, a bad light niche. If you only lose it with the pump running, that's pressure side, your returns, or your return lines. If you only lose it with the pump off, that's suction side, your skimmer line, or your main drain. I have watched people spend $2,000 on leak detection when running that second bucket would have told the tech where to start. It doesn't find the leak for you, but it cuts the search in half and you pay for less of somebody's time. This chart shows how to interpret your findings. After 24 hours, measure the drop inside the bucket and the drop in the pool. If both levels fell by the exact same amount, you are dealing with normal evaporation. If the pool level dropped noticeably lower than the bucket, you have a leak. Do not ignore a failing test just because you have a saltwater system or because the weather cooled off. Saltwater pools evaporate just like freshwater pools, and as we covered earlier, wind and dry air pull moisture regardless of the thermometer reading. And while we're here, let me kill a myth. Salt does not evaporate, ever. Water leaves, salt stays. So if you're on a salt system and your salt reading keeps creeping up all summer, that's not your cell going haywire. That's evaporation concentrating what's already in there, which means the reverse is a clue too. If your salt is dropping and you haven't backwashed, haven't drained, and it hasn't rained, water is physically leaving the pool, not as vapor, as water. Go run the bucket test. Keep in mind, the bucket test is only a screening tool. It confirms a structural or plumbing defect exists somewhere in the system, but it will not pinpoint a cracked pipe or a torn skimmer throat. You can confirm a high evaporation rate by checking your tile line. When water vaporizes, it leaves dissolved solids behind. A heavy white calcium scale building up on your tiles indicates vast amounts of water are leaving while minerals stay put. Conversely, if you have a hidden leak and an active autofill, you are continuously dumping treated water into the ground and replacing it with raw tap water. This creates a dilution cycle requiring you to constantly add cyanuric acid and salt just to maintain baseline chemistry. By pairing the vertical drop measured in your bucket test with the mineral buildup on your tiles and the shifting levels in your test strips, you can determine exactly what is happening to your water. At the end of 24 hours, you will look at your bucket and have clarity. You either have a matched level confirming evaporation or a divergent drop confirming a leak. If the pool dropped further than the bucket, your next step is to schedule professional pressure testing for your plumbing lines and a dye test for your fittings to isolate the exact defect. If the levels matched, you can stop worrying about your pipes. Your action plan is simply to deploy a surface cover when the pool is idle and put your decorative water features on a strict schedule. Water loss does not have to be an expensive guessing game. By running a controlled audit, you turn the stress of an unexplained drop into a defined, manageable technical fix. Look, 30 years of this, and I can tell you the number of leak calls I've been on that turned out to be a leak is a lot smaller than the number that turned out to be a dry October and a bad attitude about it. And here's the part nobody tells you. When I was running a route, I could pull up to a pool in October, look at the water line, look at how the yard sat, and know before I got out of the truck whether that owner was going to hand me a leak story. Same neighborhood, same size pools, and one of them would be down 2 inches while the one 3 houses over barely moved. Wasn't the plumbing, it was that the first one sat wide open to the wind and the other one had a tree line on the north side. Your pool is not losing water because something is broken. Your pool is losing water because it's a big open dish of warm water sitting outside, and outside is trying to take it. That's not a defect, that's Tuesday. The only thing that separates the people who spend hundreds of dollars on a leak detection call from the people who don't is 24 hours and a 5-gallon bucket. Measure it, bucket it, then decide. If this saved you a leak detection call, do me a favor and hit that like button, and subscribe while you're there. It costs you nothing, and it tells the algorithm to put this in front of the next person standing on their deck, panicking about a 1/4 inch. Drop a comment and tell me what your bucket test came back as. I read them. And come back next week because I've got a doozy lined up for you.
Is your pool losing water? Let's find out if it's normal. It could be simple evaporation. Or you might have a hidden leak.